All right. Well, welcome, Cassie from the San Mateo County Health. And you're going to talk about strategies on scams and avoiding theft. So I will pass the floor to Cassie Villa.
Good morning, everybody. I'm just making sure it's the morning time. I know sometimes I lose track of time. So thank you for coming. You guys are my first ones for the year talking about scam prevention. I definitely cannot cover absolutely everything, but I'm definitely going to cover what I can. Also, this past weekend, I had some scams happen to my own family, my own husband, and we'll talk about that. But the overall conversation is just going to be light. Don't feel overwhelmed like you have to know everything. That's not my intention. We're just here to kind of have a conversation of different ways we could keep safe, different trends. Tina, if you don't mind, if I can share the screen so I can just show a PowerPoint while I'm presenting, if that's okay. Let's see. So on Tina's end, she is just doing a couple clicks so that I can share my PowerPoint with you guys as we go along. Nope. All right. Perfect. Thank you, Tina. I appreciate that. So I'm just opening my PowerPoint. I just kind of like to show it. I honestly do talk a lot, so don't mind me. I find storytelling is probably better for folks. I know I like to listen to storytelling, but I also don't make my presentation too heavy on the words just because it's easy to get distracted. So my name is Cassie Villar. I work with San Mateo County, specifically with Adult Protective Services. And our umbrella here in the agency is Aging and Adult Services. So I am with Adult Protective Services, but we are everything aging and also older dependent adults related. So we're all here to support our community. Really quickly, who are we? What do we do? Adult Protective Services. Well, we support, investigate any concerns of independent adults over the age of 60 years young. As long as you're independent, living in a home, apartment, maybe we're Golden Girls and we're living together, it's fine. As long as you're independent, any concerns you have regarding somebody in a long-term care facility, you will contact your local ombudsman for some support. Other than that, California defined older adults specifically for Adult Protective Services for the state of California as 60 years young. I'm just going to go into it. We're really going to focus on financial abuse, and it looks different. Some of my other trainings, I go a little bit more in depth of different types of abuse regarding older and dependent adults. But for this presentation, we're going to clearly focus on financial, and that's why you guys came here. So one of the differences with older adults versus minors is older adults have a financial abuse category because we make decisions for ourselves or our loved ones who are adults. Minors are dependent on adults where we make the decisions ourselves. So quick 101 basics. What are some different ways of looking at financial abuse? Well, taking money or property. For instance, if I was my grandfather's caregiver, he gave me his Safeway card. His debit card to go to Safeway. And what if I'm over here going to Best Buy or I'm going to Sephora to buy things that were not approved? He was asking for food and I'm getting foundation for my face. That's when the lines get blurred and it becomes abusive. Also, one thing I do notice has happened in my own family is forging signatures. Now, here in San Mateo County, I just read an article yesterday. The average house price in our county has increased to $1.8 million. Now, I am the fourth generation living in my house, and we've had a number of different generations around us. And so I was aware of widows across the street and other people. So, for instance, my neighbor across the street, who was a widow for many, many years, maybe somebody befriends her, starts spending time with her. She had no children. She didn't have family stopping by. She's been a widow before I was born. And she was looking for companionship. Sometimes people create these new relationships and friendships and trust. Trust starts to happen. And the person is signing things that they don't know exactly what they're signing, but they trust the person. In some instances, people have signed the deed of their house over to other people without the person knowing exactly what they did. Um, we always encourage to update your trust. We always encourage, create wills, really trying to protect any assets that you do have. It gets really complicated when somebody is forcing you or deceiving you to update some of these things for their own benefit. So that's really what we are looking at. The biggest one that drives us all crazy, absolutely every single generation, is telemarketing scams, those text messages, those emails, technology that is changing and confusing all the time. And in essence, one type of scam is somebody you know. Another type is when somebody is pretending to be someone they're not, or someone you don't necessarily know in a person face-to-face relationship. So I'm just going to mention some very common scams. I'm sure some of you have actually heard about them, but they're also changing, and so is technology. Romance scams are still very prominent, and it's changing, and I'll get into artificial intelligence as well. I'm not here to confuse everyone or overstimulate. Romance scams, how could we meet people? Well, it could be Facebook Market. Maybe I'm buying some items. It could be a text message. I received them, and all it says is hi, and I don't know the number. And sometimes you respond, oh, I'm sorry, you got the wrong number. Oh, my apologies. How's your day? Sometimes that's how conversations can happen. It could be any dating app, Plenty of Fish, Match.com. I did take a training, and they said for every 10 profiles, at least 4 or 5 are actually fakes. So keep that in mind, which still gives me, I'm optimistic. Hey, the rate is still good to meet a real person, but just be cautious and also aware when you are talking to somebody online, especially when the person is telling you they're international. Another trick that they use is that they're deployed. I have a brother in the Army. I can't tell you how many places he's lived in the past decades, multiple deployments. So that makes sense. While someone's saying, hey, I need some money, can you please borrow? I need to borrow some money. I'm about to go out of state or out of the country. They also now, if you've read the news, can pretend to be famous individuals. I know somebody recently in the news was scammed thinking they were talking to Brad Pitt. We had a principal who thought they were talking to Elon Musk, yes. And she was really, her intention was to get money for her school. And she thought he was going to make a donation to her school. So her intentions were good. So it's not always necessarily romance. It's just somebody taking advantage of us, trying to be someone they're not. Now, 10 years ago, when I was watching Dr. Phil with my mom, a lot of the excuses to not see the person was, oh, my camera's broken, my internet's down. A lot of these romance scams are international. So you might be thinking you're talking to a nice 30-year-old cute Asian woman from, let's just throw Canada, right? But really, it's a man in his 40s from Nigeria. Totally different. With the rise of artificial intelligence now, people are getting technology where we can FaceTime each other, or we can see each other on the camera, whatever type of digital platform you're using to see people, and you're talking to the real person. In essence, you're talking to a fake person. Kind of spooky, but it's really, really, it is out there. I just also want to give you a grand scheme of how money looks different. Now, I grew up in a multi-generational home. At one point, we had 4 generations under one roof. My grandparents grew up with cash. Then a few decades later, it was a credit card, right? Where are we now? Buy now, pay later. We have cryptocurrency. We have credit cards. We have gift cards. all of these different ways of looking at money, it's different than just cash, right? Can you Venmo me this? Can you do this? So it's a lot of overstimulating on how we share money. But overall, the red flags to look for in a romance scam is just keep in mind, it's not going to go, hi, Jerry, nice to meet you. Can I borrow $500 48 hours after meeting them? These people take a lot of time. They literally, their entire job is just grooming and creating a relationship with you so that your trust, it goes high and your guard goes low because your emotions are attached. Sometimes it takes months to ask for money. Oh, I would love to see you. I'm having visa issues. Do you mind sending me some money? Oh my goodness. I make money and I don't need your money, but I make money through crypto. Would you like to make money through crypto? Anytime there's some type of financial conversations, it could be a red flag. Absolutely a red flag. So be very, very cautious when you're talking to somebody, but also be very aware when money is brought up in a conversation, either in making an investment or can I borrow some money? Grandparent scam. Well, most trainings that I do in person or virtual, somebody has gotten this call. And how do they kind of get our information? Has anybody heard about data breaches, right? Oh, Verizon data breach. I believe the IRS had a data breach, right? Where does this information go? Well, it goes to what I like to call the bad guys. Because I, at 42, do not get these grandparent calls. My mother, who's 65, might be a recipient of them. At my age, typically, we're not always grandparents yet. Some are, but for the most part, not everybody in the 30s and early 40s have become grandparents. So how does it go? You're going to get a phone call. It's usually in a weird hour, right? Maybe the middle of the night, maybe sometimes you're just unexpected. You're gonna get a call and they're gonna tell you your loved one is in trouble. And with the data breaches, or maybe we're posting stuff on social media. Keep in mind, even if our account is put on private, nothing is ever private. It can easily be my mom saying her granddaughter's birthday and she puts Jaden's 16th birthday or Angelica's 25th birthday. So now the scammer has broken into her account, go, oh, she has a granddaughter who's 25. Okay. And let me see, I have her information because there's a thing called the dark web. I don't know where it is because I'm not a bad guy, but it is accessible to people who try to take advantage of us. And so they sell your information. Hey, this person might bite. Hey, this might be good, right? So they're selling you people's information. Now I know, okay, her name is Sandy and she is 65 and her granddaughter is 25 and her name is Angelica. Okay, so I'm going to pretend. Hi, Sandy. Yes, I'm calling on behalf of your granddaughter, Angelica. She's in jail, and I'm the bail bondsman. I could be a sheriff. I could be whoever I want to be. And they're very embarrassed, that they're in jail. They don't want to tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. Don't tell their parents. They only trust you. And in order to bail them out, can you send X amount of money? Oh my God, I can't believe it. Absolutely. Sure. How do I do it? Well, let's do cryptocurrency. We accept forms. I don't know how to do it. They will coach you step by step on how to get the money that they want. Sometimes they'll have people show up to your house to collect cash. They're known as money mules. Sometimes those people who go in person to collect cash are victims too. So what they're going to do, it's an emergency. You got to do it now. Don't tell anybody what's happening. Why do they do that? Because they don't want you to fact check. They don't want you to hang up the phone, call your granddaughter to see if she's okay, call your daughter to see if they've heard from their child to make sure they're not in jail. Some of the stories also can be your granddaughter got in a car accident and hit a pregnant woman. The pregnant woman is choosing not to press charges as long as you pay her medical bill. So you pay the medical bill, all of a sudden, a few hours later, you get another call. the woman's baby passed away, and now it's vehicular manslaughter, and she's going to need additional money in order to not press charges. So it could really be this game of there's another story, don't tell anybody, really make it isolated. And with the rise of all these data breaches, the information is really, really getting out there of your name, your age, or maybe your loved ones. We're also on social media. That's why we like to say limit what you put on there, even if it is private, including voices. Another thing we've heard is with the rise of artificial intelligence, they can manipulate people's names. Let's just say our congressman, right? Our congressman here in San Mateo County is Kevin Mullen. You see him on the news, I get flyers in my mail, and I hear him sometimes doing speeches. All it takes is someone taking a little bit of his voice, and now I'm pretending to be him. Hello, ma'am. I am Congressman Kevin Mullen. I am calling on behalf to let you know that your child or grandchild has been in an accident, and I'm trying to, really be concerned of my community. And they can manipulate the conversation to whatever they want. The ultimate thing is take a breath. Take a breath. Another thing we could do, hang up. Hang up. You can hang up and be like, goodbye. You have all rights to contact the jail facility directly. You have if you're not even sure, I don't even know how to find out if my loved one is in jail. You can always call the non-emergency 911. So here in San Mateo, there is an emergency 911 and then listed non-emergency. You could call them and ask them, hey, I got this phone call. I don't feel right about it. Do you have any way of helping me with some phone numbers? They're really here to help you, because every city, every day or every week, somebody is calling them to let them know that they've been scammed. So as a community, we want to really, really prevent that. Another thing is your child is traveling internationally and they got sick and the health insurance isn't good, so please send money. Really just make sure that that person that you're trying to talk to or assist, that you're able to find out that the information is correct. This could be ransom as well if they're traveling. Uh, Artificial intelligence, also known as AI. So I will say there's a lot of good AI, just like in the world, there's good stuff and bad stuff. We're going to be focusing on the bad, but I do know, in scientifically speaking, there's a lot of progress that is being made for positivity within our communities, in our societies. But we'll focus on the negative part because that's what we came for. So what is AI? Well, it's a little different. It depends on the situation. They could clone our voices. Like I said, if I'm being recorded right now and somebody manipulates my voice, hi, I'm Cassie Villar. You saw me. I'm that APS trainer. And they're using my voice. That's kind of what they're doing, manipulating your voice to whatever it is that they're trying to take advantage of you. We're also creating images. So you see me now, I could snapshot a picture of my face onto an AI and really enhance myself, create myself. I like to say, honestly, a little red flag is when somebody looks a little too perfect. You have no wrinkles, no pores. In your 40s, you don't have any movement. Sometimes they're a little too pretty, if you know what I mean. And so that can be a little red flag. We can use AI in videos. I did see a gentleman who was in a love romance, and he was unfortunately being manipulated through AI. So he talked to this person every single day on video for years. So he really had tons of videos. He showed me tons of videos because he's been in this online romance for years. He hadn't met the person in person, but he talked virtually. So when I did look at the videos, it didn't sync the way I'm syncing, right? It was a little glitchy. I want to say, luckily, as of right now, it's not up to par to where the movement is like me. It was a little off. but enough to make it feel real, especially when someone's emotions are really being attached to this relationship. Another one we're seeing is chat bots. What's that? Well, some of us who have iPhones, there was a new update, and now it's saying we're using AI, right? So now on my iPhone, if my friend texts me a question, my phone will give me a response. Um, let's see. So a friend can say, "How was your day?" Right? That's very common. I can pick up my phone and the computer will say on my phone, how was your day? It's going good so far. So that just means that my phone is learning how to communicate with other people in a natural sync. Also, here at my job for the county, we utilize a program called Teams. And I can have my friend say, "Good morning." I have the option of clicking on what my computer thinks I would normally say, or typing it in some something I want to say personally. That is just our computer learning to conversate with us. Okay. Why is this helpful? Well, because there's a lot of maybe English isn't my first language. Maybe it's picking up on slang. If any of you guys, English isn't your first language, the way we learn English and the way we speak English are sometimes two different things, the correct way and the casual conversation way. So it really picks up on this too. I do know folks who speak English as who don't speak English are like, this won't happen to me. We have Google Translate. We have applications that can translate different whatever we want into other languages and also read what that person responded. So just keep that in mind as well. Craigslist scam. Ooh, these are notorious. I wish somebody would have told me back in the days, specifically when you're looking for apartments. And so I can see an apartment in, let's say, oh, I'm on very tight budget. I can only afford $1,400, which here in San Mateo County is barely a room in certain areas. And I'm just desperate. I need to move out. I find an apartment in Daly City. It's a 2-bedroom apartment for $1,400. Oh my God, I can afford it. 2 bedrooms. Maybe I could get a roommate. Maybe I could get a room for my child. So then I respond to the ad, and this has happened to me. I get a response, "Oh, I'm so glad you're interested in my property. Unfortunately, I'm out of the country. But when I return, I will put you as a priority to view the apartment. In the meantime, can you please fill out this application?" I almost did because no one told me about this. The application name, birthday, social security, date of birth, and send a wire transfer for X amount of money, say $500 deposit, so that when that person comes back in to the country, I not only gave them all my information, where I worked, but I also made a wire transfer to put a deposit so that I'm priority to be seen. Now, most of the time, somebody just went online, copied and pasted a rental that was online and used it as a manipulation to really try to get your information for something that never was happening. This also happens with vehicles, trucks, cars. I see it all the time on Craigslist. I'm moving out of the country in 48 hours, but I will sell you my truck for $5,000. It sells for $15,000, but I need to get rid of it because I'm moving out of the country. Really be aware of fake ads. This also is on Instagram, Facebook ads. Not all of them are true. My husband fell for one. He thought he was buying this big old toy. I don't know what he was buying. When he got it in the mail, it was a car this big. He spent like $70 and it was like a old Hot Wheel, already used little Volkswagen Bug. So be even mindful and cautious of the ads you see on any social media because they might not be legit, but now they have your credit card information. Another one that really, really is high in our older adult community is still Publishers Clearinghouse. This is like what I like to call my junk email. If you ever look through there, hey, you just won $500 Amazon gift card. Click on this link to get it now. Fill out this. You'll win this. You won a lottery. Click on this. They want you to click on it because we always hesitate. Do not click on links. You don't know where that is information is going, because the link that they click might be really absorbing a lot of personal data from your phone, from your computer. And so be very, very mindful. One that's really still used a lot, Publishers Clearinghouse. I grew up in the 80s. I remember the commercials, the balloons. My grandparents were faithful to really trying to get that winning. That we've never won anything. I don't know anybody who won anything, but it's really uh here's a fee. One thing we always say, be careful of, have you ever won a raffle, got the basket, and right when you're about to get the basket, they're like, oh, you won, but you got to give me $100 before you get your basket. That doesn't happen. So be very mindful of an organization, a charity, a sweepstake, trying to collect a fee. Charities pop up all the time, especially right now, LA fires. Before, we might have had some global issues or wars. Maybe we're donating to different wars in different countries. Be mindful who you're donating to, because a lot of fake donation ads pop up, but they're not going to the needy. They're going into somebody else's pocket. So I'm going to slow down and talk about cryptocurrency because it's overwhelming and people are just like, I don't get it. And that's okay. I'm going to give you a one-on-one, just quick overlook. What is cryptocurrency? Well, it's money, but it's not money we actually physically touch. I remember my mom, 65 years young. I said, Mom, it's in the cloud. She looks up. Okay, well, not the real cloud, Mom. It's more like virtual currency. Let's take a step back. It's highly, highly volatile. This, to me personally, if you're going to invest in crypto, it's almost like gambling. You really want to not invest too much because it's a volatile market, even worse than the stocks. Okay, when it's high, it's high. When it's low, it's low. A tip my friend said is basically you really got to do your homework to know what you're doing before you get involved in cryptocurrency. There's a lot of companies, so think of a million different banks to choose from. But if you go to the wrong bank or you click on the wrong bank, you could lose all your money. Exactly. So Bitcoin is legit. A lot of people transfer money to different platforms. So there's links in Texas. Maybe somebody might be like, hey, click on this. Be very, very careful. Uh, Unfortunately, what we're seeing is it's almost like another way to pay. So crypto can be in a love scam. Hey, I don't need your money. I don't need to borrow money. I make my own money. We had a gentleman dating a woman in Canada that I did mention earlier. The woman, because we don't know, woman ended up saying, hey, you do the stock markets. Why don't you make money like I do? The gentleman transferred his stock money into Bitcoin. The girl sent him a text from the company she's been making money with. He clicked on the text, downloaded the app, started investing. What we found out later is every time he would deposit money into the app that she recommended, he would tell her. So the scammer manipulated the numbers. Say I put in 1,000. The girl knows that I'm putting in 1,000. She manipulated the numbers so it looked like on his end he was making money. What ended up happening is he got a little suspicious because he tried to withdraw some money. The person ended up freezing his account. Now, this app I saw in person was awesome. It looked really, really real, authentic. He told me he was talking to customer service through the app. When me and the social worker checked this, the app was actually WhatsApp. They were using WhatsApp, which is an app that a lot of international people speak. You remember back in the days, we had to go to the liquor store to get a little calling card to punch in our number to call someone. Now people use WhatsApp because it bypasses fees and we can do unlimited. That's basically what it is. And the challenge with that app, it's you can't go into it. It's cryptid. So I can't go and see who's sending you this information. There's no way to trace it. That's one reason this type of platforms are used, because it's untraceable to find the person who's actually contacting you. A gentleman ended up investing $350,000 of his money because every time he invested, he was seeing profit margins until the person would not manipulate it to where he couldn't take his money. And so these are different ways people can be victimized. Another way we're seeing, unfortunately, is the rise of crypto. Of your grandchild's in jail, now the jail accepts cryptocurrency. Okay, you don't know how to do it? Okay, fine, no worries. What victims have told me is they literally stay on the phone with you. And I went to the liquor store. If you've noticed in your communities, and just pay attention at the malls, certain liquor stores, there's cryptocurrency ATMs. Now, keep in mind, I've looked at these little ATMs. They have warning labels everywhere, but most of us press next, or we're thinking we're in a rush, or somebody is, keeping our attention. Just press next, just press next. So some people have said that they have fallen victim for IRS fraud. The IRS is after you and you owe money, so we now accept cryptocurrency. Hey, it makes sense. I hear Google Pay, Apple Pay, buy now, pay later, cryptocurrency, gift card, cash. Sometimes we're so overstimulated. Why wouldn't the DMV take cryptocurrency, right? I go on to my Wells Fargo on my phone. There's a tab that says crypto. I go on to my Venmo or Cash App. When you scroll down, there's crypto. It's become so familiar. Some folks are like, yeah, why wouldn't they accept it? So really just keep in mind, it's volatile. If someone's asking you to pay in cryptocurrency, red flag. If someone in an online romance is asking you to invest, or just a friend or a person in general, just kind of red flag. Or what could we listen to? Our intuition, our intuitional guide. Something's wrong. I'm not sure, but just know it's really hard to get money back from crypto. So really quickly, last thing, why crypto? It is the Wild West. There's no government oversight, okay? So I'll take a step back, not to confuse you. For instance, this weekend, my husband was scammed at a Chevron gas station, right? So he went to put his debit card in. We noticed a gentleman staring at us. It was late at night. He wasn't bothered. We just whatever. He got gas, did the ATM, drove, went home. Later, his bank called him saying you have fraudulent charges. Well, now as a consumer, because we're dealing with a bank or a credit card, we have protection where they can freeze our account and refund us the money. Crypto does not have that. There's no FDI, federal FDIC insurance. Basically, if you lose your money, oh well, there's nobody gonna get it for you. That's another reason, because it's like the Wild West of finance, is why it's a great way people manipulate folks to send crypto, because we can't put a hold or a freeze or get our money back. Phishing, don't worry about reading this. Do not read this. I will sum this up for you. This is from Montero Credit Union. I just like people to know banks are mandated reporters. So by law, if they see any suspicious activity for older adults, they are supposed to legally report to Adult Protective Services. So if you're a bank, Amazon, anything that you get an email saying scams, click on it. It's okay. You can click on an email, just don't click on a link, because a lot of banks are trying to give you information about the scams that they're seeing, okay? For instance, this one here is trying to tell you if you get a call or a text message asking for an authorization code or assistance with your account, don't do it. Okay. It could be a text message, Citibank scam alert, call this number. Don't call that number. Now, I'm not saying it's not your bank. What I'm saying is it's become so sophisticated. If you call this number, you might be talking to a scammer. Well, we had one woman here. She called the number. They had her checking account number that they verified. So she really felt, oh my God, that they know my information. They know where I live. They verified. That's where data breaches come in. Sometimes we don't know the information that has been given out. What they said was, yes, ma'am, your account has been compromised. We need to close your account, wire transfer your money to open a new account. In the meantime, make sure you update all your auto pays and anything you do. Do you approve of this? Yes. Red flag. Banks don't wire transfer themselves money. Which is another method. Why wire transfers? Well, once you do a wire transfer, I asked the bank, they have a tiny fraction of time that they can stop the wire transfer. So basically, it's almost like cryptocurrency. Once you agree, it's gone. It's gone. That money has been sent. So that woman unfortunately lost money. She went straight into the bank the following day to say, hey, I just want to follow up with my issues with my checking account. And the teller said there was no issues. So if you do get something like this, just make sure you flip over your credit card or debit card, call the number on the back directly, not the one on the phone, or go in person if you're able to, and don't give out any authentication codes if somebody is asking for it. Also, the Federal Trade Commission said Best Buy, Geek Squad, which is the guys who fix your computer, Amazon, and PayPal were the top most impersonated companies in 2023. The highest value of money was still Microsoft and Publishers Clearinghouse. So these could be the pop-up ads if you're on a computer. Apple does have its own built-in spam protection, but like you've been spam, click on this. You have a data breach. They want you to download software to try to extract information, but in the essence, pretending to be Microsoft, pretending to be Geek Squad. I had a friend almost lose money on Amazon. He didn't know what number he called. Sometimes if you Google, just be patient. The first number that pops up is not always the correct number. It might say sponsored. Happened to me. I went to contact Kaiser, my medical company, for something. I clicked on the first thing I saw, Kaiser. I called the number to make an appointment, and they were telling me I want a gift card. And I was like, oh my God, I've never won anything from Kaiser. Ma'am, I need your address. They just gave my intuition this red flag warning, like something's off, because they were so, no, 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 ma'am, don't hang up. You have a gift card. No, 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 no. And I was like, they're a little too pushy to give me a gift card. So I hung up. And then I slowly scrolled, called Kaiser. I never won anything. But if I did, that's tricky. My friend went to return something on Amazon. He said the individual said, sir, can I log into your computer? He said, no problem. Keep in mind, some of us have been having other people log into our computer for years. Sometimes it's generational. Our IT department is in another city. They log into our computers from work for work and fix it. So he was used to this. I don't see you, I don't know you, but you told me to do it. He said the red flag was, okay, sir, your return has been completed. Now, can you please log into your checking account so that I know you got your refund? I want to make sure there's no delay in your refund and that it has been deposited. They want to see your login and your password and gather that information from you. He said that was the red flag when he hung up and called the police. Let's see, another one that we're seeing is text messages, Facebook. We had a woman lose a lot of money from a friend on Facebook. So if someone's reaching out to you asking for money, be mindful. It can be your cousin Larry, who you don't really talk to very much, but somehow you heard his voice on the phone. Hey, cousin, I'm so embarrassed to ask you, can you send me money? My daughter has a PTA fundraiser, but my checking account is frozen. Do you mind sending me $500 in gift cards? If it feels weird, keep in mind they can manipulate caller IDs too. Local police departments have had their phone caller IDs manipulated. I could get a call from South San Francisco Police Department, and it's really not the police department. Our own social worker got a call, and he's our hotline social worker, from his wife. He answered it, and it was someone telling him that his family was being held hostage. So be mindful. So if your cousin Larry calls you, you're not close to him and he's asking $500, you can hang up and call cousin Larry directly. Hey, did you just call me? I want to make sure that it was you asking for $500. Why would I do that? Exactly. It can be somebody copying and pasting one of your friends' profiles online. So we had a woman whose friend online was asking for money. The profile was exactly the same. She sent her a ton of money, but it felt more like an acquaintance because she didn't have a phone number or anything to get to contact her other than social media. And beware of anybody asking for gift cards. There's a whole market on gift cards. Why gift cards? Because it's easy. There's a seller's market. Okay, you got $1,000 from that woman. I'll give you 700 for it. Sure. So I got 700 from some person, and the person who bought it made a $300 profit. And you don't get your money back if you went and purchased gift cards. Keep in mind, they're looking at ways that as consumers, we're not protected, like the bank or the credit card. As an adult, I chose to go to the store, I purchased them, and so forth. Really quickly, these are kind of junk emails that we look out for, right? Up here, it's going to say Bank of America, but you notice at Comcast. Bank of America does not have at .com. Have, what is it? Comcast. Sorry, I can't see. Oh, at Comcast, right? I work for the government. My email will say at gov, or if you're in the education.edu, right? Sometimes it could be simple as, oops, sorry about that. Let me put that back. Oops, nope. My mouse little like to mess with me there. It could say Bank of America's. Sometimes they'll throw in an S or something that's not legit. A lot of times English isn't their first language. So as you see, M for member right here should be uppercase. And just a little secret, when you look on these little links, right? Here's a link, it says Bank of America. All you have to do is hover your mouse. Don't click on it, move your mouse around, and on the right-hand side, the website will pop up. So if it was truly Bank of America, it would say bankofamerica.com. But as you see where the arrow is, it shows that you're not going to that website. What I hear happens is there might be a glitch, and then it brings you to Bank of America, okay? Or it brings you to a fake Bank of America login website. You think, right? I clicked on Bank of America, it should be correct. Well, you then enter your login information, press enter, and nothing happens. Maybe it's my internet, maybe it's my computer. Well, that's where they extract your information. What would I do? I know myself, I would click out of that, go, it's probably my computer, because I know in my house I have little spots in my house that the internet's not as strong. And then I would probably go back into the website and click on Bank of America and not think anything of it. But the fact that I went back directly, I was logging onto the correct website where the link sent me to a fake website. Just be mindful. We're not here to scare you. We're just here to inform you. Also, with older generations, now our older generations are kind of starting to shift. Our baby boomers are the biggest generation. Their parents are starting to unfortunately pass away. What we like to call the greatest generation. They're typically in their later 80s and 90s. But generationally speaking, older adults are the highest rate of individuals who still write checks, and that's okay. We have to write checks once in a while. Not everything is online. Sometimes older aunts like to send checks as a birthday bunny because they don't believe in gift cards or weren't told not to send cash in the mail. Now, if we know we're going to mail a check, here are some tips from the post office. Kind of funny, but they still say pay online if possible. If you know you're going to be writing a check, go to the post office, but drop the check in the mail inside, not the blue box outside, because the reason they're really telling you to go inside the post office to drop it off is because we're getting a lot of our postmen robbed. Even on my own block last month, 2 blocks away from my house, the postman was robbed, and they're extracting checks. They're trying to extract personal information in money laundering. So what I heard on a training last week is they really are only trying to not necessarily adjust the cash amount. They're trying to change where it's getting sent. So if I sent a check for $500, they're trying to not say 5,000 because that might be more of a red flag. They're trying to change the sender. So maybe I was writing it to my credit union. They're now going to manipulate it to it going to a checking account that they want. What they encourage you to do is use non-erasable gel ink because it's really, really annoying to get off and it's really hard. Monitor your checking account. Make sure you see it's cleared and don't let your mail sit in your mailbox unless, for older adults, maybe wait for the postman and hand it directly, but don't leave it in the tab for them to pick up because you don't know who is actually picking it up. Also, just want to keep in mind, gift cards are a thorn. And now they really, really manipulate you. And here are different ways that we've had victims lose money. People pretending to be the IRS, Social Security, gift cards, tech support, anywhere from Amazon, Best Buy, family member in trouble, aka grandparent scam, military in need, ransom, and deportation. We had one woman who thought she was talking to the IRS, and basically how it goes is they stay on the phone with you. All right, this is federal agent 12345. Okay, now you're going to go to Safeway. All right, I need you to buy $500 worth of gift cards. They stay on the phone with her the entire transaction. All right, now you got it. Okay, give me the code on the back in the C, scratch off that number. What they do is once they do it, they extract the information. Now I need you to go to Safeway. This woman lost $13,000 in 2 days. And once she realized she was being scammed, she said that they called her every minute for 2 weeks. Imagine the emotional toll of having your phone ring for 2 weeks. And if she picked up, why did you hang up? And they were becoming more threatening to her. And so she was getting really, really scared. Here in San Mateo County, we can only purchase $1,000 worth of gift cards per day per store. That's not 100% safe. Doesn't stop it, the bleed. We like to say stop the bleed because I could go to Safeway, CVS, Walgreens. She went to Lowe's and bought $1,000 worth of eBay gift cards and no one's questioning her. There's also such a thing as ageism. So they don't want to necessarily, ask her, but not ask somebody else. How do we prevent? Awareness, talking about it, learning about it. It's okay to be suspicious. I like to say we could be assertive and respectful. We don't have to be rude. Work with your banks, especially if someone is starting to have some diminished capacities. Certain banks do appoint like a guardian. One Patelco, for instance, has a guardian buddy program where I can assign to friends, my friend Michael, to be my buddy. And if any suspicious activity were to happen, I would get a call. They would not give my confidential information. My buddy Michael would get a call. Hi, we're really concerned about Cassie. I can't give you a lot of information, but we're seeing suspicious transactions. We could do buddy systems. You can also enroll in identity protection plans and also try to make financial plans before diminished capacity, meaning I didn't think I was going to wake up in my 40s with a stroke or a massive illness. So you want to protect what you have and before something happens. Locally, contact Adult Protective Services. We are 100% a voluntary program. We're adults. The person can choose to work with us or not. We don't remove people from their homes. We don't tell you how to live your life. We're here to support you. But keep in mind, we are voluntary. So if your neighbor, you're concerned about your neighbor, they have the legal right to either work with us or not. We can't force anybody to work with us because it's their choice. Department of Justice, I've listed some websites here. They love to hear from you because a lot of times people report after they lose money, but they love it when people report before they lose money. It kind of gives us all of a heads up and a track of how we keep our community safe, or hey, heads up, this is a new scam. Please alert your community. Here in San Mateo County, we have an adult protection team. We're called EDAPT, Elder and Adult Protection Team. We have 3 social workers who investigate just financial abuse cases. We have 2 detectives at our DA's office who support our social workers, but also our police departments. So just a little heads up, we work with the human, but the police department would create a case to then forward to the district attorney's office. So the DA can work with the police if they need some support, some clarification, or anything like that. We also have our district attorneys. We have our own attorneys here as well to help with the police department regarding penal codes and all that great stuff. And then me, I do all the outreach, education, training, and awareness. Lastly, just be mindful of creating passwords. I'm guilty. Okay, we want to do it once to twice a year. The most important is your financial. Make sure those are complicated. Also your medical, protect your financial and your medical. Also, and so I want to encourage you, use symbols, money signs. Don't use your address, your birthday. I know I'm guilty. I try to keep it simple so I don't forget, but really try to be mindful of using something that's confusing for your most protected assets. But also know you don't have to be Inspector Gadget. If you have a suspicion, just give us a call. As you know, now we're voluntary, but nationwide, we are underreported. So here's some information. Oh, actually, that's mandated reporters. We're not mandated. Here is our hotline number right here. It's everything aging and adult related. Give us a call if you're just like, I don't know if this is a scam. If you have a question, we're here to support our community 100%. Anything aging related, any kind of question you have, it doesn't have to be about scams. It could be in-home support, or maybe I need a food, anything like that. This is a one-stop shop here in our agency for for aging and adult services. We are here to support you. And lastly, my name is Cassie Villar. Hopefully you don't have smoke coming out your ears. I know this is a lot of information, but my intent is that we kind of just bring the awareness so that we're mindful if something was to come up in our own lives.
Thank you so much, Cassie. Very
You're welcome.
informative.
And I forgot to mention, my husband was scammed at Chevron because somebody put a fake scanner on.
Oh,
So if
goodness.
you go to Safeway, well, anywhere that you're using your ATM, when you type in your numbers, just do a side to side, up and down. Okay, that's all. Because what it was is somebody put a fake base plate onto the Wells Fargo, to his Chevron gas pump. The guy who was watching must have been the scammer. My husband would have done a side to side, up and down. If it's loose or popped off, that means we would have known that that was somebody put that fake plate on there. Why did they do that? They got his checking account information once he scammed it, his card, and then that guy was able to go purchase items somewhere else. So that could be any grocery store. Anytime we're scanning, it could be Costco. Someone you just put a fake plate on, and every time someone swipes, they get your checking account. So side to side, up and down.
Could you just go back and show that screen with the contact information for the,
Sure, let me put that up for you.
take a photo of it?
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you. It was,
Here we
yeah,
go.
that's it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Oop, that was the wrong one. That's the one.
Yeah. I got it. Thank you.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Cassie. We'll see you in March. Take care.
All right, everyone, take care. Have a great day.